was the result of a late conversation I had with Yehuda.
This email, these comments, yes.
Yeah, we're discussing what he felt something is missing, and essentially the ability to contribute something, to express himself. So we're thinking different possibilities. Then I suggested he should write this. He should go into the blog, and I would invite everybody else, anybody who wants to. And if there's anything that I'd like to comment on, I would comment on it.
Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't have a chance to review it, but I'll.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. You ready? Okay. Four lines from the bottom on AyinBase 6. Okay, if you want to sit down. This is your account I printed out. I just want to show it around. You got my
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start 4 lines from the bottom. At the end, after the parentheses. And yet still, the nefesh is the source of oir v'chayis. From the nefesh comes the oir v'chayis. Oir v'chayis is representative of nefesh, even though nefesh itself is an entirely different realm, and to the point where it can't even relate to the principle of oir v'chayis. It's called mushla. Regardless at what level you're talking about, even we talk about Yechida, we say it is also one of the names of the nefesh. It requires us to kind of focus in and understand the principle of this. A name, as we said many times, a name is identifying as a representation. Where is representation significant? When there is an outside. If there is no outside, there is not, for itself it doesn't need a name. It doesn't apply the whole idea of one name. Perhaps we should go a little bit deeper in this principle, outside, because the reason it's necessary is because when you say it doesn't relate to the outside, immediately begin to think in terms of something inanimate, something insensitive, or something is so self-centered that it is not interested in anything else. And all of these things are totally out of whack. This is not what is meant by nefesh, the etzem nefesh, etzem. step away a little bit and you'll understand this principle. We always say that everything in the world is what's called memokim und zman. Everything in the world is tachas amokim, beneath the the pre-existence of mokim and zman, space and time. What does space and time really mean? There is a so to speak, a physical way of explaining this, but we are interested in the intellectual. What is the concept of space and time? Place and time. Place. Mokim Isma. The principle is that everything in the world is true only contextually. Like this is a table. This table is a table only when it is in a room. If this same table is nowhere, is in space, or this table is in a desert, it's not a table. At best, it's a piece of wood. In other words, there is a context where that makes this into its own reality. Which means it has to have a place. A place means a place that's a meaning that's given to it.
To remain on this call, press 1.
A meaning that's given to it.
Returning to the conference room.
By the context. Without that, it has no presence. Being that it is Mokim Zman dependent, therefore, its whole presence and its whole definition is based on the reality in which it is present. Without that reality in which it is present, it has no reality. It has no presence. This is, by the way, what the Gemara says, Hu mekoyme shel oilam, ve'en ha'olam mekoyme. Hashem is mekoyme shel oilam. He is the place of the world. Not the world is his place. Very, very profound, simple terms. Hu mekoyme shel oilam means, what makes the world into a world? Because there is a God. This is what makes the world a worthy place, a real place, a world. Just as we gave the example of the table, the same is true in the entire worldly structure. What is the meaning? What is significant about the entire worldly structure is the fact that ultimately it represents a godly reality. Representing itself is totally insignificant. We get the point here?
This, I think, Hashem is the makom of the world. It's the makom in the sense that it provides the meaning.
Yeah, it provides the definition.
Just like in physical, the makom provides the context for the thing.
Right. We said recently, the rain comes down and it feeds the earth. if the rain comes down totally unconcerned about the earth, no significance at all to the relationship. It happens to come down from the sky. It happens to rise up into the cloud. Is there a significance in saying the rain comes down and onto the earth and it feeds the earth? The whole thing loses its significance as a result of these processes. You could say, oh, therefore the grass grows, but nobody intended for the grass to grow. You get the point here?
What was the problem with that? You're saying you could say that.
If not for the principle that this is a godly design, not for the principle this is a godly design, it would lose all its significance.
It would just be completely natural, cause and effect.
Cause and effect, without any intent for the effect. The effect is accidental. Therefore, there is not a real correlation between the cause and effect. If we say that the sun is a ball of fire, fire emanates certain energy. As a result of this energy, if it hits an object, it reverberates, and a light is caused, and you can see it. Is there such a creature as light? And is there such an idea as vision? All of these things exist. Let's define the word idea. Idea means that there is a total context where a certain idea is identified. There's no idea in this. No?
I'm not sure the last part I didn't get. Idea.
If I ask you, please pass me the tissues. I'm not asking you. No. Okay. You pass the tissues. If your passing the tissues was not due to my asking you just didn't like the tissues in that place and put it over here. I got the tissues. And did you pass me the tissues?
Not really.
Huh?
Not really.
Not really. The whole phenomenon didn't exist, didn't occur. There's what mokom. Something, a context that makes things real. What makes the world a real place? Because there is who. There's a godly reality behind it that gives it presence and significance. Ultimately, that reality is expressed in Torah mitzvahs. That brings a godly presence into the world. Without that, it has no significance whatsoever. Ein loy mokoim. This is that everything exists in mokom zman. The mokom gives it a presence. That is true regarding all things worldly. All things at different levels. Hamisha shemus nikrula. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. Nefesh, we discussed yesterday, is also a contextual presence. Nefesh gives life to the goof. When you go up higher and higher, Yechida, the context sort of loses itself. Because then it is making a statement of pure truth. Nevertheless, it's making a statement of pure truth. Therefore, it is in context. Nefesh itself, the Etzem HaNefesh, is not in context at all. It's not mokum dependent.
How do we understand the making a statement is a context?
What?
How do we understand that making a statement is a context?
I say that 1 and 1 is 2. Like we said the other day. 1 and 1 is 2, or 1 and 1 is 2 once. You don't realize the context that 1 and 1 is 2 once. There's absolutely no significance to that statement. It's not a concept. It's just relating certain facts that have no significance. When you say 2, then we're saying that there's something uniting this 1 and 1. There's a context.
How does that apply to the Yechida?
No, so we say, okay, Yechida, Yechida has koiches, even though the koiches have koiches hiyunim and atzmim and so forth. The principle of koiches means it can affect, it has a sense of what it can affect. Affecting means that there is a contextual presence. If it has a message, it has a contextual presence. It exists because of the circumstances. Its presence is significant because of the circumstances. When we talk about Etzem HaNefesh, does not relate to circumstance. It's not circumstantial. Going back to original truth. Motzei Rishon. What is Motzei Rishon? Where does he exist? What's the point of that presence? Motzei Rishon doesn't exist in the context. It's a truth beyond context, beyond mokum. I think that there is difficulty in getting this concept. Let me step back a bit. I can't really question the difficulty. It's said many times that the Gemara says, Odom shein lebayis ein yod. So when we start looking at the bayis, say, yeah, bayis is very necessary. A place to sit down, a place to rest, a place to put away your stuff. A place that would protect you against the elements, the cold and heat and all that. Is that what's expressed in the words Oin Beis and Yodam? As you pointed out, animals also hide beneath rocks when in the storm. Does that make them human? What is the meaning of Ein Yodam? No? You had a smile, but I need some words.
Looking at we say that he gives him a place in the world. The person is meant to be here in the world, effectively, and when he has a home, that is a.
What an Ein Yodam? Odam. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
And Adam is Adam means neshama and a goof in the world, and
no, this is why he is a Beis. But what is the meaning of the Odam? Odam as distinct from animal. Animal is also has no significance in itself. So, Odam has a primary significance. The Beis signifies that his significance is how he affects the world. I'm saying, but Odom means that he is a real presence. It's not the presence just because he's present. The animal, he's hungry because so he eats.
So you're saying that the house that he owns, it's clean.
well, that is representative of the fact that he's real for real.
That's right. What is reality? How do you define this? It's a godly reality. This saying that there is such a reality is due to the fact that this world is a godly creation. If not for that element, there would be no such an entity in the world. The significance of Beis would be, even if people were smart enough to build houses, so that I'll keep you out of my business. There's no primary significance to it.
That's sorry.
So that's to explain that mashal. That's what's the nimshal we're trying to get.
That is a motion
The
for something that is not contextual, just a reality. In other words, it is not that it serves something. As a result of that, something happens. This is a self-contained reality. Same thing with a nefesh. A nefesh is not contextual.
So when you ask the question, what's the purpose of the etzem? The answer is that it shows that there's a real reality, that there's something that's real.
Like we started from the beginning. Motzur Isha. What is the meaning of Motzur Isha? Is there a mokum? Is there a context in which Motzur Isha is present? If there's no context, so what kind of presence is it? The answer is it's a presence beyond presence. It's not a mitzvah in the mokum, in a context. Nothing has to do with the mokum.
But aren't we saying that Ein Adam unless he's in the context of a bias, meaning to say he's a participant in the Eibishter's world if he's not?
No. This is how we explain the reason that then he is not an Odom. But what does Odom mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Adam is someone with no context.
Adam is someone, is an entity that makes the world into a world.
So why does he provide? I just don't understand if we're saying that the level of Adam is that which supersedes any idea of context. Why does he then why does he need a bias then in order to be?
Okay, all right. Let's not be stupid about it. Okay. This is come on, in the relative sense.
He's above the whole thing.
He's above, and in a world, in a relative sense, he is a reality. Of course, he's not a reality. He doesn't create the world.
Bias is that he should bring that in.
He brings the godly reality to the world. But he brings it itself, no, because God gave him that task, that ability.
Etzem is above the entire context. So
Etzem is beyond context.
And it provides the reality for the entire context.
Look, we speak all the time about property ownership. Let me explain that the whole concept of ownership, in the real sense, is there due to the fact that the Eibishter gave human being the right to own. There is no, in other words, if ownership consists in the fact that I grabbed it, and if you try to touch it, I'm going to hit you. That's not ownership. Do we understand that? Mm-hmm. So what is the reality of this ownership? The reality of this ownership is due to the fact that the world belongs to Hashem. He created it. And He gave the world to the human being, and therefore the human being has the whole concept of ownership. But he doesn't own it. He is not God. He has the ownership because the Eibusha provided him with that right, with that ability. So ownership is also in a sense of, godly. It's not contextual. In other words, it's not definable. I own so I can keep you out of there. That's not the definition of ownership. Ownership has a reality. You own it. But who gave that reality? This is the Eibusha. Who became a shalom? He gives that. He provides for that possibility.
When we say reality, we mean beyond circumstance, beyond context.
Mm-hmm. So there's relative. There's all relative.
And we somehow found that Yechida was yet still contextual.
Also, I'm saying Yechida is yet still as a name. He yet still contextual. Etzem is not contextual at all. Yechida still has a name. I would say has some message, has some effect. This is I came on with this to explain when we say external effect. External does not mean that it's selfish and it's egoistic. On the contrary, external and non-external. External means that it is within a context. It has a meaning. It has a procedural meaning, contextual meaning, and the context is what gives it the reality. Etzem HaNefesh does not depend on context at all. And this is why, first of all, I just wanted to explain, the Etzem HaNefesh does not relate to external presence, to explain what that means. It's not because it rejects anything, because its reality is unto itself. It's not contextual. And therefore, this explains to us the difficulty, the question that we're asking: how come there is oil coming from the Etzem Nefesh? Chayus.
How does it explain that?
This explains the question.
Oh.
We're still in the question.
Seemingly it's completely beyond.
That's right. That's the whole. This is what. This is what is being. This is the struggle and this is why it's taken so long. This is the real question.
Two separate realms. It's like.
And that's what ain't be gathered oil. Because ain't be gathered oil. The whole element doesn't exist. It's not. It's no context. It's a truth unto itself. Not because of context. I mean, a person has ownership, a house, but it's the truth is given to him by context. He has to be in the world, and that gives him. But in the world, he has a truth. He's not world independent. But within that context, he is real. Relative to the animal, that's not real in this context. There's only a functional reality, not in reality, not an essential reality. It's a motion for the union of reality, but it's still a contextual. The nefesh, there's different levels. Anything that's in a name is contextual. Etzem nefesh is beyond name, which means it is not contextual. This is why we say that it doesn't relate to the outside. It's not because of selfishness. It's because of its reality. And that expresses its greatness. Okay, this is it for this morning.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
This is what you meant in the comment that it's not the solidity, it's the godly reality.
That's right.
This is the godly reality.
That's right. That's in ignorance. So, I think we should put it in. Are you going to put it in? I think we should put it in.
I put it in. My comment I put in.
You put it in, so you corrected it and you put that also.
No.
Okay, so you can
Make a comment.
Maybe you can. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So here's the point which we're talking about. A suggestion, and I think hopefully it'll work. Whenever, after a class or whatever, it would be nice if people would would send into the blog comments what they got out of the class. How do I understand it, and what is the significance of this?
And then every comment that gets put in, Rabbi would get notified, so it would automatically come through. He would see, he'd know. And other people would be able to counter comment or explain.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way of getting everybody express their own thoughts on this.